So this is a really quick video because I've had a few people asking why we no longer use Cinebench for doing stress testing on the CPU to find out temperatures, like average and max temperatures a CPU gets up to with a certain cooler or thermal paste on them. I'm filming this directly on the camera rather than doing a screen grab, so you can see there's no trickery or foolery or editing or anything like that going off. As you can see here, we're running Cinebench R23. This works the same on all the versions of Cinebench we've come across. You can see here we've got the task manager open as well. And then we've got HW info, which is monitoring the temperatures. And one thing you'll notice when using Cinebench, when you're testing, obviously doing long tests and you're testing like multiple cores or even single cores, you generally set it up to do a certain amount of rotations of the actual test, so it doesn't basically stop. So you can get it to do a 30-minute test, an hour, however long you want it to do. Now, what happens, unfortunately, when using Cinebench, when it gets to the end of a test, it then loads up another test. And in the time it does that, the CPU usage drops quite a bit, and it's inconsistent as well. Sometimes it can be probably a few percent, sometimes it can be even 40%, and it can depend, it differs per core, and it changes each time, which is a real pain in the backside. And what this means is, obviously, the CPU isn't constantly running at 100% usage. It's basically dipping. You can see it there. Utilization just dropped down to 88%. And that will be different each time it gets to the end. But that means because it's not working flat out constantly, the temperatures are not going to reflect 100% usage. And this is something a lot of influencers and a lot of online testers, you've seen them all. I don't think I need to name them, but the big guys out there, they always use Cinebench. And that's why we've stopped. We use a different program. There are other ones out there, but you need to make sure if you're trying to figure out is how hot your CPU gets over a duration, it can't suddenly make the utilization drop every few seconds because that's going to affect the temperatures. And as you can see here, our average temperature at the moment of a core is 61 degrees, and it has actually dropped down to 29 degrees while it's been doing the testing, and then jumps back up again, and the maximum is 73. So it is actually making the temperature very inconsistent between tests. You can see here it's 61 at the moment. It's about to finish the test. We'll have a look, see what the temperature drops to in just a few seconds. Here we go. So it's 61. And then it suddenly dropped 57 degrees there. Okay, so it's just dropped 4 degrees. Average that out over half an hour or multiple hours of testing, and you are going to get inconsistent results. Unfortunately, it makes testing really difficult. So we tend to use a program rather than Cinebench. As you can see, as soon as we close Cinebench, obviously the CPU cores basically go down to 0 or 1% utilization. We use what's called burn-in test. Now this program, again, we have got a license for it. It is a paid-for one. There are quite a few different things it can do. You can also do GPU tests and stuff like that in there. We use the max CPU temp. That makes all 20 threads, that's 12 cores of our Intel 12700 processor, which we're testing at the moment, be tested at the same time. So we just click on max CPU temp, press OK, and I'll reset hardware info just to show you. So here we go. So while it's doing the test, and that's running now. It gives us a timer. It tells us the temperatures within the program. Personally, I prefer hardware info's temperature monitor. It updates more often. But here you'll see, now the testing started, you can see it all ramp up. The CPU's working at 100%. There is no dips. It doesn't drop. The temperature doesn't change. Well, obviously, other than getting hotter as it tests longer, but you don't get that little drop everywhere, every now and again, which can be, you might think it's only a little thing, but if you're trying to basically come across a stability issue, or you're wanting to basically overclock, then your CPU's not staying at that maximum speed constantly while you're doing it. It keeps dropping every now and again. Again, only a few little bits, but over a full test cycle, what we usually do is half an hour minimum each time, up to 2 hours. It can change the temperature by up to 2 degrees on average. But what it does cause, even more so, is the minimum and max temperatures As you saw before, the minimum temperature went down to 30 degrees and the max temperature went up to about 72 because where the fans are going constantly up and down to adjust for it depending on how you've got your fans set up. So that then means, obviously, you're not getting a constant result. Where can you go and meet hundreds of people just like you, strengthen existing relationships and forge new ones with vendors and distributors, and meet some of the biggest names in the industry, where you can go and see the newest tech and services that you need to make your IT business grow. And there'll be thousands of pounds worth of prizes up for grabs. Then what's more, you'll get that for £1. TechMax 2023 will be on the 23rd of June at Magna Adventure and Science Centre near Meadowhall in Sheffield. This event will be over 4 times larger than last year's event, and this year's event will incorporate a live tech awards, dedicated meeting rooms, demo and interactive areas, and up to 800 other techs just like you. Get registered now at tftmax.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and no, I did. Why not check out one of our other videos by clicking this box up here, or this one just down here. Otherwise, you can give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment below, let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.